It should be no surprise how there is an increasing reach towards authoritarianism in the modern world, and how the general masses show a meek tolerance towards it. Rather than a matter of the boiling frog, it is the boiling world citizen. Out of all the opportunities that 2 centuries of blood and guts has built, bloody brick by brick, there is still no softer pillow one can lay one's head upon but the safe security away from the insecurities of liberty. Freedom isn't free. As much as it is a cliché, it rings true. Freedom is maintained much in the same way as if your heart pumped voluntarily rather than involuntarily, requiring a conscious effort each and every day. Unless freedom is a virtue and a value close to the heart, freedom is otherwise an exhausting prospect for those beleaguered by daily life. Authoritarianism has been the status quo for much of human existence. As far back as the Stone Age, if not for the cohesion of the tribe, individuals were constrained by the authority of nature, that animals and weather could end their lives, and the lives of their tribe, without much effort. Authoritarianism, to one degree or another, has been a staple in governance since the dawn of government. How a 200-year experiment in constitutional republicanism would change the course of 4,000 years of historical inertia is naive at best. Where tribalism evolved into statecraft, tribalism remained still among the enlightened Greek city-states and throughout much of the Roman Republic. The plebeians stood out at odds with the patricians on through the casting out of the Republic and the rise and divide of the Empire. The theocracies of post-Roman Abrahamic Europe were steadfast to the serfdom of the masses, the peasantry set upon by their lords, to the subjugation of the conquered, the invention of the state. By my scepter and my crown of gold and jewels, by the hand of God, I bestow myself as arbiter of all mankind. I am the ears and eyes of God. I am king. All other kings are lesser than me. The divine right of kings is the archetype of the ancient and modern state. The endless blood feuds between European nations held to this paradigm of divine right of kings, those bloodlines who held sway over the lives of those who lived under the hand of the king. The human body was the property of the ruling class. The low and common were as sheep and cattle, to be butchered under banners and trumpets. Even the aristocracy were possessed by their bloodlines, by the ancestors who put them in their place by birthright. This was true throughout the ages, for generations. Countless wars. Wars over rivers, over dotted lines scrawled on paper, wars over the ear cut from a captured mariner, petty wars that lasted months or decades, wars over daughters or sons, old grievances bowing to new outrages, as insults became cannon fire. Britain against Spain, Ireland against Britain, Austria against Germany, Switzerland against Russia, Russia against Prussia, Prussia against the French against Spain. There was no soil left on the surface of Europe, only dried blood. Even with the advent of the Enlightenment, little changed, offering only theories on the new concepts of freedom and liberty. State churches still acted as moral police, vying with kings for power over the masses. Modernity grew from the twilight of the Renaissance and placed doubts about the total subserviency of the plebeians, which was reinforced through resentment and poverty. This resentment and poverty can only be the past. As the world is now modern, it has outgrown brutality rather than to refine it. This is the hubris of the utopian mindset, that human nature and the human being can be, by science or by reason, split, where the human being can be freed of greed or rage or lust. Utopia is the everlasting dream. Stalinist Russia, the fleeting advances of brown shirts as they cast their iron cross over the first half of the 20th century, the blood and tears of the Cultural Revolution in Central Asia, the stoic endurance of East Germany. The modern world only sees authoritarianism in the most severe manner, through blood and guns. Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea. More blood, more guns.